Anthony Harvey here with Decorative Concrete Finishes, your #1 source for all your decorative concrete needs. We specialize in design and install. We do all aspects of decorative concrete, outdoor living areas, patios, pool decks, driveways, walkways, you name it, we could do it. So as of today, we're just wrapping up this big project that we took on. It's taken several months. We've had a couple setbacks. We've had rain, we've had snow, we've had back orders on the stone. It's been a little obstacle, but it's a beautiful job, as you can see. It's an outdoor living area complete with the grill area, pergola, foundation walls, LED lighting on the steps. It's just one of a kind, and it's beautiful. Homeowner had a digital rendering of what he wanted, and I think we hit the nail on the head with this project right here. It was a lot of work. So before, as you can see, there was kind of a flagstone patio here. It was on a hill, it was eroding. So what the owner opted to do was do something badass like what you're gonna see in the end here. So we removed all the flagstone, stacked it. We went off the plan and we got our footings marked out and we dug those babies. That was a hell of an undertaking. After those were dug, we went ahead and we formed our footings. We put all our rebar in, and then we poured them using a 4,000 PSI 3/4 inch aggregate footing mud, and then we wet set all our uprights. One hell of a process, let me tell you. We had to use a pumper. We had a bunch of guys involved. It's an obstacle, it's a tight fit, you know, but we got in there and we got it done because that's what we do. We get it done. So here's our next phase. After we poured the footings, we got our foundation squared up and we snapped all our lines on the footing. Then we began installing our aluminum forms for our walls. It was a heck of a process. It's a lot of work and a lot of movement and a lot of energy is required for this. It's not for the faint of hearts. But we got all our walls formed, we got all our rebar in, and we're ready to pour now. Now that we got the walls all formed and everything squared up and level and ready to go, now it's time to pour these babies. We got Aaron Santa Cruz with Aaron's Concrete Pumping to help us out. He came out here with his line pump because a boom pump would not reach. It's too far of a stretch, you know, so it's just a lot easier to use a line pump. So we got this baby poured in. There's a bunch of us guys there moving and wrestling with that hose, but we get this thing. We get it poured, we get it filled up, and it's done. That phase is done with. So now after the walls all poured and all that hard stuff's done, now we gotta strip this baby. It's a Saturday, it's cold, it's snowing, there's ice everywhere, it's mainly mud. It's not too cold, but it's a nightmare obstacle. We gotta get the forms up, we gotta get them loaded. We got another job in a couple days, we gotta get them out of there. There's no ands, ifs, or buts. It has to be done. Got the wall stripped. We're gonna let them sit for about a week or so before we backfill against this baby. But it's one heck of an outcome. Check it out. I love it, I love it, I love it. So in the midst of all this, the homeowner decided he wanted to add a set of steps on the west side, so it's kind of from the beginning when we started forming, so we had to tear it down, we had to build it up, we had to put 2 piers, but we got it. The thing is, we couldn't reach down deep enough to put the blockouts for the walls, but we did it, so we just saw cut it out, knocked that baby out of there. We made our entrance for the west side staircase. No big deal, a lot of work, but it's done with, it's over. We're moving on to the next step, which will be backfilling. We got a lot of backfilling to do. We're using a structural fill, we're using jumping jacks, we're compacting the heck out of that baby because there's no other way about it. Compact, 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 that's the way to go. You know, we got all our elevations set up on the walls, we snapped some lines, you know, we're kind of grading, we're rodding, we're hand rodding it, we're getting it exactly at 4 inches thick. So we got all the dirt graded and compacted in, you know, we're getting our rebar put in, you know, yet we still got to form all the caps on all these walls, and that's a whole other undertaking in itself. As you can see on all the walls, we have all the rebar uprights sticking out, which will bend one over one way, one over the other way, and we'll have 2 No. 4 continuous rebars running through there. It's a heck of a process. It's a lot of forming. It's a real meticulous job. This is where you got to be exactly right on. You know, one half-ass nail put in there, and the whole form's going to fall apart. So you got to make sure you take your time and do a nice job so that when you pour, you get a successful pour. You're able to strip the forms off for when you're facing the sides. You know, there's a lot of work behind it. There's a lot of moving parts. You got to just make sure you do it right. On all the caps, we're using a sandstone color. It's a Davis color. We're using a 4,000 PSI 3/4 mix. You know, the homeowner just wants a straight, smooth finish. We're using like an 1/8 inch edge, or I don't even know, to be honest with you, just a real shallow edge, just enough to give it a little bit of an edge on all these caps. You know, we're doing all the walls, all the caps, and the concrete countertops for the grilling area. Those will actually be sandstone also. We don't know what the grilling area is going to be. It's been changing up some. They're adding some grills, they're adding the egg, they're adding the burner, they're adding a sink, refrigerator, all that stuff. So I went from something simple to something a little bit more extravagant, but it's nothing that we can't handle. We do it all the time. That's what we do, is extravagant, hard to do stuff. It's going to be beautiful. So check it out, look at these steps. You know, this is kind of a process that Leo, the Gemini, and myself have been doing for a while. We do the LED lighting in the steps. It's a really nice touch, you know, for staircases and walkways and stuff. And I mean, it's kind of time consuming, but you know, if you have the customer that wants the lighting, or you want to throw it in, or you want to do something nice, I mean, this is an accent like no other. We've gone ahead and done that on all sets of staircases. We're going to do a couple on the piers. It's going to be really inviting, welcoming feature. On the concrete patio, what we're going to be doing is a seamless texture stamp also. We're going to be doing a saw cut design. Not really, I mean, it's kind of a design, but it's not really a design, but it has to have control joints. You know, we're kind of doubling them up, coming off all the piers. You know, we're using a soft cut. We're going about 1 inch deep on them control joints. That will be nice, and we're using sandstone color on that as well, with Adobe buff release from brick form. We've also graded the whole area. It's been compacted. We're using No. 4 rebar, 4 foot on center throughout. We've doweled into everywhere that we could dowel into, you know, help with sagging and just keep the movement from moving. You know, we got to do the best, you know, if you want the best. So we're pouring, we're pumping, we're stamping, we're saw cutting, and then we'll come back at the very end and we will seal it. It's going to be super nice. So we got all the stone veneer installed. We got Renato, one of our top stone masons out here. He came out and he really knocked the ball out of the park on this one. You know, you'll see in some of the pictures there's some stone missing, and you know, it's over 2 million square feet on back order right now. It's been tough getting what we got, or believe me, this thing would be done. So we're here waiting. It's another couple weeks before they're supposedly gonna be here, but he'll come out, he'll finish it. That will be all nice and done here shortly. special shout out to all the people that, helped with this project. Without them, I ain't nobody. You know what I mean? And I'm not claiming to be anybody, but Leo the Gemini for one, my son Patrick. We got Aaron's Concrete Pumping. We got Fox Construction that brought us their forms out here. We got Jorge and Delfino. There was just a lot of parties affiliated with this to make it happen. Over here in Colorado, there's a lot of finishers that are just day finishers. We got a bunch of them guys, Bernie Mac, Lalo, just to name a few, Alberto, Santiago, just a lot of guys that were involved in helping with this project. And I want to thank you all. I love you all. Keep on doing what you're doing. I'm here for you. You're here for me. We ain't nothing if we ain't got each other, and that goes for everybody. Again, Anthony Harvey here with Decorative Concrete Finishes, your #1 source for all your decorative concrete needs. Interior, exterior, whatever, I can do it. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you next time. Peace.